Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Pisces for March 2016. Check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where you can see my astrology blog, my health blog, and blogs on other topics, and you can also sign up to become part of my free email newsletter community and receive all kinds of perks that go along with that. So we've got a crazy month of March. We've got eclipses to talk about for some of you. We have birthdays, we have impending Mars retrograde, we've got amazing energy that will suit you if you're trying to move forward, but there's a lot of energy in a quiet time, rest, sabbatical place, and probably lots of big endings or completions are coming to fruition and lots of new beginnings. So that's the summary of the month. Let's drill down into the details of what is making this so. First, we have birthdays. If you've listened to my reports before, then you know that I'm birthday crazy because birthdays offer you one of the best times in the year to make birthday wishes. The universe is never more receptive to your desires than on your birthday. When the sun in the sky, which represents your desires and what you want, gets back to the point in your chart where it was when you were born, it opens a portal for your desires, hence the birthday wishes. So the more you take advantage of the birthday wishes, like really take advantage of them, write down your wishes, you get 10 wishes, you write them down, you feel them as if they're coming true, then the sun can amplify that energy and become a catalyst for your creation, your manifestation. So definitely take advantage of that. So the 4 weeks before your birthday, or before the sun crosses over your ascendant, which in some ways feels like a birthday, it's a new beginning, it's rebirth, regeneration time. So if you're watching for your rising sign, you'll experience some similar energy. But the 4 weeks before that crossover is when the sun goes into the 12th house, your solar 12th house. The 12th house is a house that rules quiet space. It rules the connection to all that is. And when you feel that connection to all that is, it's usually when you're quiet. Meditation, anything having to do with retreat, sabbatical, hypnosis, using your mind to access different dimensions of experience. And this is also the placement of fears. Many fears that we have are deeply unconscious. Some things we know of that we're afraid of, and those are in the 12th house as well. But those deeply unconscious things that you really only know on occasions when they come out in dreams or nightmares or patterns in your life that keep perpetuating themselves that you're afraid are going to happen again. The 12th house rules all those things. So if there are things that you've been avoiding, this is a time when the sun is lighting up the 12th house that you can actually do something about them. Unfortunately, many people wind up medicating, self-medicating, or avoiding or using substances or something to shut out the pain and the fear that comes from the sun illuminating those parts of yourself that are unresolved. And that is not the best way to use the energy. That just further keeps it unconscious. It further disempowers you. So maybe this will be a time where you choose to use that energy in a different way. And you can do that through deep inner work. Any kind of psychotherapy, psychology, delving deep into any kind of self-help work or self-assistance is very good for you now. And even just quiet and meditation, not really doing anything other than just being quiet. That's wonderful. So it's timely in the way that you have to get more in touch with the things you don't want in order to think about what you do want. And so when the sun crosses over your sun or the sun crosses over your ascendant, you have this bursting forth out into manifestation, out into creation, out into the outer realms. So if you take the time when it's quiet beforehand to really get clear on what you want and what you don't want, then you can make your wishes and your intentions be more powerful. So it's really set up perfectly for that. Of course, these transits never are set up to hurt you or intentionally torture you, but sometimes it feels that way, but they're purposeful. They're trying to help you. So the more you take full advantage of that, the better. Every person with Pisces importantly placed, like sun, moon, rising, is going to have a very full 12th house. So it's not just you all who still have your birthdays later in the sign. It's early, middle, and late degree Pisces as well, because the sun was moving through there. Mercury and Venus are going to be in there. So depending on your placement, you'll have one or all of those crowding your 12th house, as well as some outer planets. So this is a very busy time for your inner psyche. You might have spiritual awarenesses. You might have intuitive knowings, connectedness to situations or places or synchronicities. This could be a very magical time. The fears are there, yes, but the magical connection is there as well. So it can manifest for you in one or all of those ways. And often when you take out some garbage, you leave room for something magical to happen. So maybe that will be some incentive for you to do the work. Okay, so that's birthdays. Let's talk about the eclipses. Okay, so twice a year we have eclipse time. There is a solar eclipse, which opens up new energies, new portals, new experiences, new directions. And then there's the lunar eclipse energy, which closes energies that you have been experiencing. It ends things, it brings things to completion or fruition. So again, this energetic law that tells us energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it just changes form. This is seen very readily at eclipse time because something closes and ends to the same degree that something new opens and expands. And they're equal, they're energetically equal. Sometimes the things that come in are really good and only good, but the difficulty comes just because people are nervous about change. So sometimes change can be challenging even if it's a good change. And sometimes it will bring closures and endings that are not welcome and that you might not feel ready for. The story of the eclipses that are happening now are twofold. We have the continuation of the Pisces Virgo story, which started in early 2015 and moves into 2017. And then we have the ending of the Aries Libra eclipse cycle, which has been going on since the end of 2013. So there's two stories happening at once. Since the end of 2013, we've had eclipses in Aries and Libra. Aries has to do with me, myself, my body, everything about the individual. Libra has to do with we, partnership, collaborations, people working together. It's the me versus we polarity. So you will likely have seen the story of your me versus we changing very profoundly since we've been having these cycles. And this is everybody. Every person of every sign has been experiencing the Aries-Libra polarity. For many Pisces, early and many middle placements, you've been experiencing this Aries-Libra polarity not only in the sign, but also in the house. The house of the first house and the seventh house, which adds the intensity to the me-we story. So major openings of new relationship, major closings of old relationships, sometimes staying in the same relationships, but parts of those relationships ending and new parts starting with the same person. It's just a big story in me and we. And so something that has been happening since the end of 2013 may come to a final ending here at this time. And maybe it will be welcome, maybe it will be expected, maybe it will be a relief. But in any case, there's very likely going to be endings, and they are very likely going to have to do with your relationships. And again, this is for early, middle, and late. You're experiencing this lunar eclipse March 23rd at 3 degrees of Libra. That's going to happen for all of you in the sign of Libra and the house of Libra, the seventh house. So some ending within a key relationship or multiple endings within key relationships are very likely. What's opening up for you early and most of you middle degree placements, let's remind about how you figure out if you're early, middle, or late so that this can make more sense. If your birthday is from the beginning of the sign, like 19th, 20th, through March 1st, something like that, all the February born, you're early placements. And that's the same for 0 to 10 degrees or 0 to 9-ish degrees of if you're looking for your rising sign. Your middle degree placements are around March 2nd through the 11th, and then that's like 10 to 19 degrees. And then later degree placements are March 12th through the 20th, or the end of the sign if it goes to the 21st. And then also 20 to 29 degrees. Okay, so basically everything is separated into thirds. That's how you can figure early, middle, and late. So for you early and middle degree placements, you're going to be having the new opening happen in your house of self. So again, this is like this story of empowerment, of you finding your voice, finding your individuality, standing on your own. Sometimes your standing on your own has to come from the ending of key relationships because you've been relying too heavily on them. And sometimes there's a line drawn in the sand or a boundary made within your relationships where you have to rise up to meet the boundary now, these new standards, while still being in the same relationship. But it's very, very, very powerful to have a solar eclipse or eclipse cycle at all in your sign. So starting from the beginning of 2015, all Pisces are undergoing this radical transformation in themselves, what they put out into the world, how they see themselves, and how they show up in relationships as well. The story of me, we is continuing for Pisces and will go well into 2017. So this is a chance for you to really redefine yourself, for you to see what it is that you're putting out there. Maybe you have a certain job and you define yourself by your job. If someone says, what do? You are your job. Maybe it's time for you to have a different job and a different definition. Maybe there's something you've always been wanting to do, and this is the eclipse cycle, strengthened by this actual eclipse in March, that's going to put you closer to expressing yourself in a way that feels authentic for you. It has very much to do with authenticity. Many times, Pisces energy can really fall into the shadows of molding into what other people feel they should, because they're so watery. They just kind of fill the grooves of whatever is around there. They take the shape of the things they go into. So this cycle is especially important for you in really figuring out your clarity, your autonomy. And this story is going to continue for a while. So the other transit that I wanted to talk about is Mars retrograde. Mars rules your initiation, your energy, your get up and go, your forward movement, assertiveness. So when it goes retrograde, people's get up and go will have gotten up and went. It's like it slows down and takes energy from what it is that it is ruling. So it rules starting things. It also rules declaring war on someone, so like taking legal action or something like that. So when Mars is going to go into retrograde, it's not the best time, it's actually the worst time to initiate an attack or to launch something into the world. So April 17th through June 29th is that very active part of Mars retrograde. If you are watching this in February, sometime in early February, I will have the Mars retrograde video and corresponding blog up so that you can see all the do's, don'ts, avoids, and there are quite a few that correspond with this. And this becomes very important in March because the shadow period for Mars retrograde started at the end of February. So all of March, every day that you march closer to the end of the month, you are getting stronger in the Mars retrograde. So if you're going to launch something, you really want to do it in those earlier times, February and the first half or so of March, because you'll feel things losing steam. What tends to happen with projects that are launched close to Mars retrograde or in Mars retrograde is that they fizzle out. And nobody launches a project to have it fizzle out. If you're launching something, you really want it to have longevity. Now, if you have an exception to that and you're doing something, it's a one-hit wonder, you're doing it one time, it was intended to fizzle out, then maybe you'll be fine. But it might not boom the way you want it to, because that energy is going backwards. So take advantage of the energy that in February and in the early part of March for initiating. And then once you get into the Mars retrograde, things will slow down. You'll feel less motivated. You'll feel less ambitious. So what I'm planning on doing is do as much as I possibly can until I see steam starting to get lost, and then I'm going to just take a break for the rest of the time and follow the energy. If you pay attention to that, it'll be much less frustrating for you, and whatever you're trying to do will go further. So I can't see what's going on in your individual chart. If you'd like some individual coaching, you can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely go there anyway because you would like to see my blog, I'm sure. There's a wonderful blog up there about Jupiter and all the Jupiter placements. I will be posting a blog to correspond with my Mars retrograde video and all kinds of other things on there. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter. I do a monthly write-up of the month ahead with more specific information sometimes than I even give in the horoscopes. And you get that every month as part of my email community, plus other perks. And definitely check out my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine. It's available on a sliding scale. You can go to my website and click on programs and click on Shine, and you can see how I can assist you to step into the life of your dreams. That's my department. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.